In this lesson, you are going to learn about place values and how to compare decimals in terms of their place values. This is a continuation on the topic of decimal numbers. And so let me read from what I have on the board. It says the position of a digit within a given number is known as the place value of that number. The further we go in a number, the further left we go in a number, the larger the place value of the digit. While the further right we go, the lesser the place value. So if I have a number, for example, let me use whole number before we go into decimal numbers. Let me just write some random number 3, 4, 8, and 9. Each of these digits has their place value. The place value of this first one here, which is 9, we call it unit. What makes it unit? Because it's 10 to the power of 0. And any number to the power of 0 is 1. Unit in this case means 1. This second one is 10 to the power of 1. So this makes it tens. The place value of this is tens. This third one is 10 to the power of 2 rather, which makes it 100. And this last one is 10 to the power of 3, which makes 1,000. That is what this statement is saying. So the further left we go in a number, the larger the place value of the digit. So this number here has the highest place value because the place value is 1,000. Which you can write it as, let me call it TH. This one is 100, this one is tens, and this is units. For decimal number on the other hand, here we can see that we started with units and then we increase it by 1, the power of 10 by 1 as we go towards the left. For decimal number, so let me use the same number 4, 3, 8, 9. Let's point some random number 8, 2, and 3. As here is 10 to the power of 0, 10 to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 2, and 10 to the power of 3. For decimal number, it will be to the power of negative 1. So this first one is 10 to the power of negative 1. In other words, 1 over 10. That is another way I can write that because a to the power of negative 1 is 1 over a. So 10 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over 10. So the place value of this first digit after the decimal point is 10 to the power of negative 1. This one is 10 to the power of negative 2 and 10 to the power of negative 3. So we go like this to go towards the right hand side. The negative power is decreasing. That is a decrease because negative 2 is smaller than negative 1. So now this 10 to the power of negative 1, we call it hundreds. Hundreds. That is with th at the end, which means 1, not 100 tenths, rather. It's the second one that is 100 tenths with th at the end. That is 1 over 10. And this other one, which is 10 to the power of negative 2, we call it hundreds. Hundreds with th at the end. That is 1 over 100. And 10 to the power of negative 3, we call it thousands. Thousands with th at the end. That is 1 over 1,000. So the next one will be 1 over 10,000. The next one after the next will be 1 over 10,000. And so it goes like that. So if you are to express each of these digits in terms of their place value, then let me rewrite that number here. Then I have 4, 3, 8, 9.823. Again, this is 10 to the power 0, 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 2, and 10 to the power 3. This is 10 to the power negative 1, 10 to the power negative 2, and 10 to the power negative 3. So the place value of this is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. The place value of this is 80, that is 8 times 10. So this number here is 80. This number here is 3 times 100, which is 300. And the place value of this is 4 times 1000, which is 4000. And that is why if you are calling this, of course, this is 4389. That is where we got that pronunciation from in terms of their place value. 4389. What about this decimal number? How do we express that in terms of their place value? Remember that 10 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over 10. So this 8 now times 1 over 10 is 8 over 10. And that we can write as 8 tens with th at the end. Then the other one will be 2 times 1 over 10 to the power of 2, which is 2 times 1 over 100. That is 200. 100 with th at the end. Hundreds. Then lastly, 3 will be 3 times 10 to the power of negative 3, which is 3 times 1 over 1000. That is 10 to the power of 3 is 1000, which is 3 over 1000. And that will call 3 thousands with th at the end. 3 thousands. This is different from ordinary 3000 without th at the end. Without th at the end, rather. This one is ths at the end, meaning 3 over 1000. Okay, so that is how to write a number in terms of the place value. Let's use that knowledge to answer some questions here. The question 1 says, find the place value of each of the following numbers. The first one says 837.347. So I'm going to write the number here and then write the place value on top of each one. So for A, I have 837.347. The place value of this is 10 to the power 0. This one is 10 to the power 1. And this is 10 to the power 2. This is 10 to the power negative 1, 10 to the power negative 2, and 10 to the power negative 3. So this 8 here, that is 8 times 10 to the power 2 is 100. And then 3 will be 3 times 10 to the power 1 is 10. 7 will be 7 times 10 to the power 1 is 1. So let me just write 1 there. Let me clean that and rewrite it correctly. So, and 8 times 100 is 800. 3 times 10 is 30. And 7 times 1 is 7. And so the name is, of course, 837. 837. So the place value of 8 is 800. The place value of 3 is 30. The place value of 7 is 7. What about the decimal part? This 3 will be 3 times 10 to the power negative 1 is 1 over 10. That is 3 over 10. And 3 over 10 is 3 tenths. 3 tenths. 3 tenths. Then this one is 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2 is 1 over 10 to the power of 2, and 10 to the power of 2 is 100, which is 4 over 100. And 4 over 100 is 4 tenths. No, 4 hundredths rather. 4 hundredths. Hundreds with th at the end. Let me shift this one down so we have enough space to work with. Then lastly, 7. 7 is 7 to the times 10 to the power of negative 2, and 10 to the power of negative 2. No, this is supposed to be negative 3, not negative 2. That was a mistake there. 10 to the power of negative 3 is 1 over 10 to the power of 3. 10 to the power of 3 is 1000. So 7 times 1 over 1000 is 7 over 1000. 7 over 1000, I will write that as 7 thousands with th at the end, which means 7 divided by 1000. And so that is that for example number 1, for A rather. Now we have B. We have to write, it's even 8 only they ask us to find, not each digit. So we are doing extra work. Let me clean this body and then do the remaining one. For the second one, we have 784.983. We have to find the place value of 8. In this case, we have 2 8s there. So the first 8 and the second 8, let's do it separately. So 784.983. For this first 8 here, this 4 is 10 to the power 0, 10 to the power 1, and 10 to the power 2. I have 10 to the power negative 1, 10 to the power negative 2, and 10 to the power negative 3. So the place value of this is 8 times 10 to the power 1, which is 10, which is 80. So the place value of the first 8 is 80. I'm sure there's a mistake in that. We are not supposed to have 2 8s there. But notwithstanding, so for this one, that is 8 times 10 to the power negative 2. Excuse me. 10 to the power negative 2 is 10 to the power, is 1 over 10 to the power 2, which is 1 over 100. Excuse me. That is 8 over 100. And 8 over 100, you can write that as 8 hundredths. With th at the end. So the place value of that last 8 is hundredths. Then question C. Excuse me. Let's do it here. Because here I have 455.498. Since the 8 is here, let's forget about the whole number part. This is 10 to the power minus 1, negative 1, 10 to the power negative 2, and 10 to the power negative 3. And 10 to the power negative 3, that means I have 8 multiplied by that, 10 to the power negative 3, which is 8 multiplied by 1 over 10 to the power 3. 10 to the power 3 is 1000. That's 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1000. So I have 8 over 1000. And 8 over 1000, we can write that as 8 thousands. So the place value of the 8 there is 8 thousands. Then lastly, have 324.8 483 rather. 324 point. Let me get rid of some of this so we have enough space to work with. The last one we have 324.8, maybe 4, not 8, 483. Again, my 8 is right here in the decimal part, so let me start with decimal right away. 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 2, and 10 to the power 3, negative rather. So the 8 here, in terms of its place value, is 8 times 10 to the power negative 2, which is 8 times 1 over 10 to the power 2. That is 8 times 1 over 100, which is 8 over 100. And 8 over 100 is 800. So 8, I have 100 here already, so let me just put 800 equal to 800. And so that is how to find the place value of a whole and decimal number. Let's move on to another example. Example 2 says, for the number 894.98687, rather, write the place value of each digit in words as well as in numbers. Okay, first of all, let me write the number 894 point, my point look like minus, 0.987. The place value of 4 here is 10 to the power 0. That of this 9 is 10 to the power 1. And here is 10 to the power 2. For this 9 is 10 to the power negative 1. This is 10 to the power negative 2. And this is 10 to the power negative 3. So now we are asked to write each one in words and in numbers. So for this 4 here, that is 4 units, because 10 to the power 0 is 1. And 1 we call a unit. So the place value of this 4 is unit. Let me write it 4 equal to unit. And let's say in words and in number it is 4. Then that is that for 4. What about 9? The place value of 9 here is 10, because that is 10 to the power 1 is 10. So for 9, place value is 10. In words, that is 9 in number rather. Excuse me. 9 times 10 is 90. That is in numbers. Then for 8, the place value is 100. Why 100? 10 to the power 2 is 100. Then in number, that is 8 times 100, which is 800. Okay, that is that for the whole number part. For the decimal part, the place value of 9 here, 10 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over 10. And 1 over 10 is 100. It's 10, not 100, right? So 10 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over 10. And 1 over 10 is tenths. Tenths. So if that spelling is correct, that is that for 1 over 10. The place value of 9. Then in words, that is in words. In number with 9 times 1 over 10, which is 9 over 10. And for 8, the place value of 8 there is 10 to the power of negative 2, which is 1 over 10 to the power of 2, which is 1 over 100. And 1 over 100, we write it as hundreds. Hundreds. So in words, the place value of 8 is 800. 800. So this one is supposed to be 9 tenths. In number will be 8 times 1 over 100. And just move on to this place right here. It is 8 over 100. And 8 over 100 is 8 hundredths. Hundreds. With THS at the end. 8 hundredths. Then lastly, what's the last digit? 7. Let me do 7 here. 7, the place value is 10 to the power negative 3, which is 1 over 10 to the power 3. That is 1 over 1000. And 7 times that is 1000. is 7 over 1000, which is 7 thousands. So the place value of 7 in words is 7,000. In number is 7 over 1000. So it goes like that. So that brings us to the end of this class.